Hi, I'm Kyle, and I'm a renegade.
Hi, I'm Harvey, and I'm a renegade.
Each week we're looking more and more legit. Look at you. Ultra branded.
Hey, we're driving. We're getting close to 100 YouTube subscribers. That's our first step to 1,000. Once we get to 1,000, potentially YouTube will help fund this. We want to bring this to our audience at no cost.
That's right.
And we just do this for fun. And if YouTube wants to revenue share with us, we're more than happy to help out.
We're open to it. Now, Todd, when you are sucking back some barley and hops while on a trail with your zero drops, there is an athletic brew for you. Today, free wave. Yo,
That's a hazy hazer.
hazy. Don't be lazy. Have a hazy.
Whether you're all in or all out, there's an athletic stout for you.
How's that one? Chocolatey?
It's got hints and notes of marshmallow. I could be making that up 100% myself.
Has notes of s'more and graham cracker, a little bit of fire.
I read that somewhere. I don't know where I made that up myself.
But I believe it helps with marshmallow. Beer as strong as marshmallow.
It's an extra dark. It's an extra dark stout. I love it. That's what a Guinness taste.
Drinks like a meal.
Drinks like a meal. And I'm having a hard time opening. Sorry. Hey, Tito, there's some more stuff for you to comment on.
Do you need an adult? There you go.
Yes, I do, Mark. Can you come over and help me? We love having friends on the podcast. And who is the best friend of the Renegade Podcast? I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is the best friend of the Renegade Podcast?
Obviously, it's Tito. Nope, not Tito. No, I would say one of the best friends of the podcast would be provide us with. You know what? I feel so light and airy wearing this right now. This is so comfortable. I actually haven't worn this one yet. And I could just be casually sitting around like this, or I could be, placing 60th in a race with 61 people and still look good.
That's right. It's all about looking good.
That's all that matters to me right now. So I do want to thank Flo. I mean, this has just been phenomenal. And we got some apparel now, some hats. It's been wild. So I definitely a friend of the podcast. Yeah.
Well, the texting flow, because like every week, Path Projects is dropping new merch. They got the Wadi collection over the summer. They had the Montera collection. They got a whole new revised lineup with the basis shirts and the logo shirts. They got arm sleeves, wool beanies. They have a wool button up, kind of like your Dixon flannel. And I said, you got to slow down. I can't keep up. I'm running out of money. I keep buying so much stuff.
Yeah, and closet space too. I mean, it's tough. There's just so many good items out there.
And I'm getting ready for the New York City Marathon. And I will be wearing my Wadi tank, my Graves shorts, because the pockets are out of control. I can store my 8 Marentette gels in there. I can store my phone with minimal bounce, maybe some squirrel's nut butter. You never know. I might have to put some of that in there, Mark. It's your favorite stuff.
Never leave home without it. Ultra Kyle.
Ultra.
Welcome, Ultra Kyle. How's it going?
Going on, guys? Todd, Mark. Nice
Representing
to see
the
you guys.
Blue Jays too. This is great. Very nice. Nice hat.
You guys got the shoes okay? I sent you guys a couple pair.
Did
Absolutely.
Look at these bad boys. These are
So
great.
some nice Escalantes for you. Nice.
Thank you. No, really appreciate that. I can't wait to get them in the rotation. This is awesome. So thank you.
And
Thank you,
Kyle,
really, sincerely.
I tested out the Carbon 2s on Sunday. Did I would say like 10K pace. They're coming to New York with me. Like, they're unbelievable
right.
how fast they were. Right
They're
out.
fun too. Yeah.
And Todd, you said you felt like 10 years younger, right? Running in them? Like
Yes,
at age. It took a couple years off your life there.
It gave me hair back, Kyle. Like, it gave me some hair back.
Yes.
Stamina.
That's
You saying no guff? Just kidding.
I could imagine what it feels like to have hair flowing in the wind, kind of like Steve Prefontaine.
Yeah. That's it, dude. That's it. Right. So, Mark, you live similarly to Todd and Harvey down there, and
so
Wheatley, you know.
yeah. I'm Chatham. I'm in Chatham, and then we have
Nice.
Wheatley and Harvey. Are you Windsor or Wheatley or around there? I forget where you are.
Do you have me? I'm in Leamington. I would never say I was from Chatham or Wheatley.
Or Wheatley.
Welcome to Harvey joining us.
Ooh, took me a while to MacBook. Hey, I'm not used to the MacBook.
Welcome, Harvey,
Yeah.
and welcome to Ultra Kyle. So we have a really cool concept tonight. We got Ultra Harvey, we have Ultra Kyle, we have Ultra Marathon Man, and we have Runkle Mark.
Yeah.
Runkle. I gotta change my name somehow. Ultra Runkle. That just doesn't flow, right? So we'll work on that one.
I thought we could just have a great conversation, maybe lay some ground rules out. Kyle, you're traveling all around Ontario. I always see you on social media, and you're spreading the love of Ultra to the local running stores, teaching people about the footwear, and we love Ultra. We got introduced to Ultra running probably from Dr. Mark Cucuzella, and Harvey and I probably 2017, 2018, bought the first Escalantes, and we're still wearing them. We love them.
Yep.
And I thought we could just talk about a day in the life of an Ultra rep. Like, pretend that we're your running store and teach our audience all about the Ultra story.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm becoming a renegade today. This is a big deal, guys.
Yes, we've been waiting for you to become one, and you have. Welcome.
And I will.
Welcome.
I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys have had some really impressive guests on. Just looking through the podcast, listening to some. I mean, my favorite probably being Corey Belmore, because that guy is he's a different animal. He's a Windsor legend, so Canada legend, I guess, maybe. So maybe even Beer Mile legend, I guess is a better way to put it. So anyway, I'm excited to be a part of the exclusive group of the folks that call themselves a renegade. So thanks for having me. Yeah, man. I mean, as a tech rep for Ultra, right? Like, it's nothing. I guess there's some glam to the job, but it's pretty. I think I post the glam to my socials. That you guys see all the, maybe the best, but there's a lot of grit that comes with the glamour. Like you said, like my job is to I drive around this province. I technically cover Eastern Canada, so I will venture into Quebec and I'm out in the Maritimes next week. So I do get to visit some different parts of the country, and then every once in a while I get to go down to the US. But the primary, area, I live in Toronto, focused in Southwest Ontario, really from the corridor from where you guys are down there in Essex County up to Ottawa. So I guess really just like an overview of what I do is I drive around the province and a little bit of Quebec, like I said. And I educate people on the brand, and really it's about it's working with retailers primarily on like teaching how to sell the product, because we've got a lot of impressive retailers that have been selling Ultra long before I came around. I mean, i.e. the guys at Running Factory down with you guys. I mean, go up the road to London. Like, there's a lot of impressive retailers, but my role, I think, is to get in there, educate on Ultra, what's new, what's different, and empower people to pull the product and speak about it and use it as a tool and a solution for the folks coming into to a running store. Like, probably much like, Todd and Harvey yourselves, when you first found the brand, you were like, dude, this is solving a lot of my problems. This is awesome, right? So that's the primary role. I'm in Kingston tomorrow, so I get up bright and early tomorrow morning. I drive to Kingston and, like I said, go visit some people out there. So that's a brief overview of what I do anyway. But it's fun, dude. yeah, like it's a pretty cool, it's a fun little gig, and I enjoy the travel.
So how did you find Ultra? So what is your Ultra story?
My path to
of
Ultra. Yeah, well,
yeah.
it starts with running, I guess, right? Like everyone's got a different path to running. For me, I started running just casually in like high school and stuff, and then took it more seriously in college. And then I was fortunate enough to work for. I kind of applied on a whim. I went to school in Peterborough, Ontario. Love Peterborough. Got a lot of love for the people in Peterborough. I went to school up there for a program called Sporting Goods Business, and since I was a runner, and sporting goods is weird. It's not sport management where you work on like the sports team side of thing, right? You work for the Leafs or the Jays or whatever. You work on the sporting goods side of things. You work for the brands. You work for in hockey, you work for Bauer or CCM, and in snowboarding, you work for Burton, whatever. So since I was in that program and I was a runner, I focused all my school projects on running and a variety of brands. I would do Nike, I would do Under Armour, I would do everything. So when I left that program, an opportunity, I just was on LinkedIn actually, and there was an opportunity. ASICS was hiring a tech rep, and I was like, "Oh, sweet! I'll apply for that." That's exactly what the program that I was doing was kind of meant for. Applied for it, got it. Congrats to me! Like I don't know if it was it was a lucky. I mean, I got the job, which was big. And then once you're into the running industry, that's when my journey to Ultra starts. Where I worked at ASICS for a little while, and then you learn about competitor brands. Right? I learned what Hoka was. I learned what On was. I learned what, of course, Ultra was. And then towards the end of my time at ASICS, Ultra was hiring. I'd seen the product. I remember seeing it in stores, being like, "This is different, right? This is not." And as we all have noticed, the product, this is not what most shoes look like or feel like. So when Ultra was hiring, I kind of applied for it on a whim. I was like, "Oh, I'll apply to this job," and spoke with Frankie O'Brien, who I'm sure Todd and Harvey, you guys know, and he liked me enough where he was like, "Let's do this thing," and he hired me. So that's my journey to Ultra. But it's been, I don't say life-changing, but it's been really impactful for my life, not only from a career perspective, but just like a running perspective, health perspective as well. So it's been a fun ride. Yeah, like I was a hockey player growing up. I played goalie. I was a goalie. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys are goalies.
Yeah. Goalie here.
Todd
everything.
Todd looks like a goalie. So you and me, brother, like that's what I did. So you're kind of nutty to begin with. So honestly, Harvey, though, but from the journey from all those sports that we played growing up, like it was just, turns out I wasn't really good at any of them, right? And you got to kind of shift to something you can do. And it turned out to be running. So that's what it came down to, dude. It was just like, I wasn't really good at too much. And then found running, and here I am, man, talking with you boys. So.
Well, you know what? For the Renegades, we also have Harvey Steinhoff joining us tonight. And we invited Harvey. Harvey's a good buddy. He's the guy that got me into running 2016 after years of making fun of me, basically. I mean, he still makes fun of me. All warranted. It's all in good jest, and it's fun. And you know what? Harvey, what's your Ultra story? Maybe you can share that with the Renegades, and maybe what's your running story too?
Well, my running story started young. Elementary school, I remember grade 3, St. Pius the 10th High School cross-country team. I was never a good runner, but I was always the alternative guy, right? Didn't stop me from it didn't stop me from going out because I basically got a little bit of free time out of class, which was always a bonus. So I went out there and I ran all the time, even though I wasn't great. I went in, did it through high school, had some pretty good coaches there. I ended up doing more of the short distance stuff, though. I landed in the 400s, but I still ended up doing cross country. And I always remember to this day, my coach would be yelling at me on the course up the hill. He'd say, "Go, run, kick it." And I would have that 400-meter kick. And he'd just start laughing. And I didn't get it because I wasn't serious about running at that time. Fast forward a few years, I went to St. Clair College. I was on the cross-country team. Little did I know that if you don't go to classes, they kick you off the team. So that was the start of the end, my first end to running. So I quit running for a little while, started hanging out with the party crowds, I would still do the odd run though. I would run to the bar to meet my friends that were the bartender and say, what do we got that's a healthy drink? And we'd end up drinking like vodka water or something like that. That didn't last long, right? Obviously, you're packing on the pounds, you're getting slower, you're winded. So we're going to fast forward. I'm getting older here. I moved to Leamington. I find my wife, Julie. We get married. We have a child. My daughter comes home, grade 3. Guess what? She's joining the cross-country team. I had to get back at it. It was time. Like, I couldn't let her take off, start running without me. So I started running again. I was really into it. This is kind of funny story where we found Ultra. So we kind of had Todd. We kind of talked Todd into running a little bit, but we were working on Lily. She was 10 years old at the time, and we were working on her half marathon time. We found a pacer at Prociw, and her name was Megan. She's gonna hate
Megan,
me.
yep.
I believe it was Megan, and Megan was actually dating one of the Ultra Tech reps for Michigan, which we all know now is moved on, but he's still with Ultra, but moved on to bigger and better things. Nick. So that's where kind of we met, got into the Ultra thing. We would go to a couple of his runs in the States at RunFit. He'd have some Ultra demo nights, and I thought, this is great. We're going to do this. What I forgot to mention about that story, though, is that year, Megan got Lily to her first sub 2-hour half marathon. So she was a big help. And after that, Nick won that race in his ultras, his secret ultras that were like, hey, you guys can't see.
Prototype.
Yeah, he couldn't see you guys can't see these shoes yet. But so from there forward, I was hooked on Ultra. I was amazed by this guy and how he could go out there and just crush a half marathon. And his girlfriend at the time, now wife, could get my daughter to that sub 2-hour half marathon, and she wouldn't listen to me. So I knew that they had something special going on. After that,
That's awesome.
the only other thing that I'm going to add to this is a few years later, Lily was diagnosed with Tourette's. So Todd and I took on the New York City Marathon and ran for the Tourette Association. So she kind of, even though she stopped running, she kept us going.
Nice.
And she's
Awesome.
an amazing runner. She was an amazing runner. How many, we paced her to many half marathons, even when we did our first COVID marathon. I think it was in 2020. And I remember we were going to run a half marathon with Lily and then drop her off at the house, and Harvey and I keep going. But we went out with a pretty brisk pace. and basically I ran into the wall because we were running way too fast, because Lily was way too fast. Her half marathon time was a lot faster than mine.
Yeah, but we ended up getting her a personal best again that day.
That's right. That's right.
All because of
All
Ultra.
because of Ultra.
We're happy to share with our Renegade listeners, coming Sunday, September 14th, 2025, the Windsor Waterfront Half Marathon and 5K, billed to be the flattest, fastest, most scenic, and more importantly, the most family, spectator-friendly event. Running along the Windsor waterfront, you have the Detroit River at your side, you have the Detroit skyline serving as that big city backdrop, and it's showcasing all the best of Windsor, Ontario. This is the half marathon or 5K that you've been looking for, the race that you must put in your calendar. On episode 15, Ryan Allison joined the Renegade and shared all the detail, the planning, the race day specifics that the team has been focused on delivering. As big city racing comes back to Windsor, Ontario, a short drive across the US border, this is the perfect tune-up for your fall marathon. And you have the time to start your running journey, time to train for your first race, or time to plan and be part of a big thing coming back to Windsor, Ontario. Renegade is proud to have the Windsor Waterfront Half Marathon and 5K be a friend of the podcast. And as a thank you for being a Renegade listener, you can use the code WWHMTM8 for $20 off your race. That's WWHMTM8. And we are looking forward to seeing you at the start line Sunday, September 14th, 2025. So another little fun story here too. Like, Kyle, we wanted to get you on the podcast because in August of this year, Harvey is the co-founder of the Shores of Erie Run Club, right? Shores of Erie or
Shores of Erie Run Club,
Run Clubs. Cirque. And Ultra Kyle was coming down. And I'm going to leave it right there. Maybe Kyle, talk to us. What was on the books for the demo day for the Shores of Erie Run Club?
Yeah, I don't, Harvey, I forget what the anniversary. I don't know if it was the.
It was our 1 year anniversary. Yes, for sure. We had all these people lined up to come, and Kyle, take over.
Yeah, well, I think it's nice to invite me down. I hadn't been down to Windsor in a while, and we tied in our friends at the Running Factory. And I came down the day before. Came down to Windsor the day before the run. I thought, Windsor's enough of a drive, get the hotel, stay down there. Anyway, long story short, I parked my car in the wrong spot and left it in a parking garage. And fortunately, some gentlemen or whoever, ladies, I don't know who it was, but somebody decided to break the window on my rental car I had and proceed to steal all of the demo shoes that we had for our Shores of Erie anniversary run. I stole my tent, stole my backdrop, they stole I had a Vanish Carbon 2. I brought down I only brought my left shoe down to show it off. Hey, this is what the Vanish Carbon looks like. So I have one right pair of Vanish Carbons at home. Yeah, long story. It was devastating. I remember calling Harvey that morning and being like, "Hey, man, I had nothing. I got nothing. I got a busted up car. I will not be able to do the demo tonight." We did try to talk with Mike Anderson and the team out and Noah Anderson out in Michigan, some of the tech reps out there to see if we could get some shoes last minute. But unfortunately, didn't work. So yeah, I got the good old Windsor treated me. It got me good, man. The Windsor,
good old Windsor.
Did we ever find out if it's an inside job though? Look at that beautiful shoe behind Harvey there. Was that one of the ones?
That is a Carbon too. Yeah.
Only Harvey knew
lefty or righty.
Yeah.
If he had one of them, we would have a conversation. But no, Harvey is actually a lot of credit to Harvey because he was on the prowl to find the perpetrator, and he found the perpetrator. I don't know. 2 hours later, he was like, "I already found them, posted on Facebook Marketplace."
You serious?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
It was a whole thing. I don't know what we can say.
And I was going through my social media, and anybody's name that had Ultra, I said, "Hey, you guys got to help us out. How can you help us out?" Meanwhile, Kyle already made all the calls.
Yeah, I called some people and then got some. I mean, Cornell, our good friend Chris Cornell, reached out, and you would reach out to him, you reach out to me, but yeah. So I'm excited. We need to, obviously Harvey and I are working on trying to get back down for Shores of Erie. It's tricky with the time. I know that Essex County and Windsor is like the Florida of Canada, so we can probably push it. We can push it pretty far in November, December. Because you guys, it's probably all the leaves are still on the trees down there, right? It's so damn warm. And,
it was 20 today, yeah.
Yeah, so potentially later this year, otherwise in the spring. But we got to get down because I need to. We got some new product that came out recently. I want to show off. We got the Lone Peak 9 coming out in January. A Torn 8 comes out in the new year. So we got to get some shoes down, get some shoes on some people's feet for sure.
Well, the Renegades who listen to the podcast, they know my terrible question that I asked Dr. Mark Hugazella. Why is the foot so important to running? That Mark never lets me live down. Dr. Mark's forgiven me for that stupid question, but I still haven't. But what I love about the Ultra brand, and I got Uncle Mark into Ultras right away when he was having some foot problems when he first started running there about a couple of years back.
Yeah.
It's a really grassroots brand. And what I mean by it is, it's not the huge brand that's got the sexy appeal that's bringing people in. It's word of mouth. Harvey, how many people have you introduced Ultra to? You were telling me this on one of our runs.
Mm-hmm.
It's staggering how many people you've introduced the brand to.
For sure. And I would say, so I work in an office atmosphere during the day. I've got two jobs, but the office atmosphere, I probably have introduced 5 or 6 people just in that office. Not necessarily even runners. They just put them on their feet, come to work. Oh, these are so comfortable. Where can I get another pair? They start out with the winner's dump, like the shoes that get dumped from the year before. They buy those. And I know that's the idea of it, right? That's the exact idea.
Uncle
of it.
Mark's got those.
Let's get these shoes.
Got 2 pairs actually.
Let's get these shoes on people's feet. Get them to feel what they're like, and then hopefully they go to the running factory or the Altra website and pick up a pair.
Yep.
That's exactly it. That's what that won me over. Is Todd told me about them, and I ordered a pair without ever even trying any on. When they arrived, I'm black everything right now, but when I first got, I just loved everything about them. They felt so great. Just the way my foot was inside of it, I never wanted to take them off. And I wore those into the ground, and I have maybe like 5 or 6 other pairs right now, but I still use those for now cutting the grass or whatever, because I don't want to throw them out. So
never throw them out.
Well, you guys have
we got to keep them forever.
Yeah, I only got rid of 2 pairs. One on accident, I lent to somebody, and they moved, and he said, I can't find them. And the other I threw in a shoe tree because I wanted Altra to be represented in the shoe tree. So I made a little TikTok and threw them up there.
The rumor is, though, after Harvey threw them up in the tree, he went up, cut them down, and he's still wearing them.
Oh yeah,
we're not supposed to talk about that.
No.
Okay.
I think you guys have been wearing Altra longer than I have, right? And I remember when I first started, Cornell telling me immediately, like, hey, these 2 really good guys, Frankie too, same thing. We're like, Todd and Harvey, really good guys. Take care of these guys. They're great for the brand, especially down there in an area where I think sometimes Windsor doesn't get as much love as maybe you'd like, right? Of course, Detroit over the border does, and then of course up in Toronto sometimes. So you guys have been really impactful for the brand, and not even in just that part of Ontario, but in the greater scheme of Canada as well, right? And in the U.S., all the U.S. people are like, they know Todd and Harvey. The U.S. tech refs know you guys, right? So
that's kind of scary. The power of social media.
You're superheroes.
Yeah, and if they don't know us, they learn real fast because in Chicago, I show up in Chicago at the booth, and one of the reps comes over to me, Morgan, and she says, where are you a rep for? I'm like, I'm everybody's rep.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, it was nice to see
Kyle,
you down there too. But yes, yeah, go ahead.
So we had Golden Harper on, I think, one of our early episodes, and he talked to us about founding the Altra brand. He had the waffle iron in the basement, and he talked about cobbling up a 0 drop shoe. And one of the questions we asked him was along the lines of, you could have done something different. What would you have done differently? And he talked about going straight to a 0 drop shoe right away. That it worked for some, but for a lot, it didn't work. And we see the Altra coming out with the Experience. And this is like a transition shoe, like a 4 millimeter drop. So you don't have to go to a 0 drop right away. Talk to us about that brand and that lineup and what it does for a runner.
Yeah, I think that's, and yeah, to your point, like Golden's the brainchild of the shoes, right? Like he created it. And he's a really smart guy. Like I've listened to your podcast with him, with various other like podcasts with him. He's a really smart guy. I think where the brand has evolved to now is like we need the goal of the brand is to get more people into the shoes, right? That's the idea. We believe the shoes are good for you. Loving the glasses, boys. We believe the shoes are good for you, right? So the kind of mission, the vision of the company is, okay, we want to help people stay out there. How can we get more people in the shoes? Kind of the solution to that is, most people are completely like really open and excited about foot shape, about having your foot sit naturally, sit comfortable inside of a shoe without it feeling too tapered or tight. But there was some hesitancy for some people to get into a 0 drop shoe. And a lot of that is, stigma, and a lot of that is like misconceptions. The tricky thing is with those things is there's always going to be misconceptions and stigmas and stuff. We don't, I like me, Kyle or Harvey or whoever, Mark, like we can't always change someone's, thoughts on something, right? So we had to, instead of trying to change others, you almost have to change yourself, right? I think that's where the 4mm line, the Experience Flow, Experience Form, and now the Forward Via and the Experience Wild on the trail side, those shoes coming out is getting a new consumer into Ultra, experience the idea of having your foot in a lower drop shoe, and maybe that's not zero for some people, but in a lower drop shoe. And additionally, you can experience what foot shape is. I think the fit is what's really still unique and fantastic about the product. Even most people that run in Ultras like previously, and maybe you guys are good examples to use, they like zero drop, but maybe they had a low drop alternative as well. They were running in a 4 or 5 or 6mm drop as well. So I've actually not seen a ton of hesitancy or pushback from some ultra traditionalists. A lot of them are like, hey, that's actually helpful for me because I was training in X shoe at 4mm drop, and now I can actually completely have Ultra as my full full running shoe assortment. So it's a growth driver for the brand. The product, honestly, the Experience Flow might be our best trainer right now. Like, it's a no nonsense, great daily trainer. It's light. It's a mix of protective but not mushy. I did a lot of my marathon training in it. So the product's really impressive. The looks of the shoes have gotten really nice, and I'm sure you guys can appreciate that over years of the evolution of the looks. But that, I mean, that's, yeah, like I said, I think it's just about getting more people in the shoes, right? That's, we want to do, help more people and grow as a brand. Of course, we want to, the same way you guys want to introduce more people to shoes, that's the same thing I want to do, right? So the 4mm drop stuff has been really impactful that way.
Looking back,
and I think,
oh, go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was just going to say, I think how you describe those shoes is how I am as a husband, protective and not mushy. So, I got to work on that a little bit more at times, but I like them. I really want to try these shoes out too. So that's awesome.
Well, and, when I transitioned over from, Harvey will remember this, I think it was like the winter of 2017, I went out and I bought my first pair of Hokas. They were a little bit too tight. I got a good deal on them. And I told Harvey, I'm like, these will get me through the winter because my feet were just destroyed. And after that winter, my feet were even worse. So I got out of the built up shoes, and I can honestly say for about a year, my calves were tight. And because I went basically cold turkey from we had Brooks Ghost. I remember wearing those. Those were like 12 or 13mm, like you're up just on an angle, down to the Hokas, and then right to the zero drop. And I was trying to keep my volume up. So if I had to do it over again, I would have transitioned slower, and having a 4mm drop option would have been perfect. So I can see where the brand's going with that. You're going to appeal to a lot wider audience. And like, I have a pair of Forward Experiences. I've been wearing them one day every couple of weeks. I love them. I just love that it feels different. Like you don't want to run the same thing all the time, and it just keeps the foot alive, wakens it up. Harvey, did you get a pair of the Experience or the
What did I get? I got the Forward.
You got the new Forward
Via, yeah. Yeah, I put them on.
I
put them on, and Kyle gave me the eyes, and I just said, "Oh, I got to buy them."
and he also put them on and ran a sub 15 5K already.
Yeah. That's a secret, Todd. We're not telling people that.
They make you fast.
So no, you guys hit the nail on the head. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the product, and it's not even to like disparage other brands, because there's so much good product out right now. Like the running shoe world is never been in a better place, right? The product, the innovation from every brand, from Hoka to Brooks to Asics to Saucony, whoever you want to name, the innovation is top notch. I think it's nice now that Ultra is being a little more competitive in that space, not only with the 4mm drop, but the introduction to some of our really impressive top innovative products like the Vanish Carbon and this new Forward Via as well. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be a runner. There's no doubt. It's a kid in a candy shop sometimes.
Do you think that Ultra kind of paved the way for some of these other companies? Because a lot of them are slowly maybe going to the 4mm, going to the foot shape, going to the zero drop.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think because we're so young, it's hard to say that we like, I think it's a good point. I think that certainly I felt over the past 5 years that I've been selling shoes, I felt like the shoes have gotten, I don't say wider, but maybe more forgiving, right? Like I feel like the days of 2010 when shoes were tight and narrow and like all about being very streamlined or whatever the word you would use back then, The idea of having your foot sitting more naturally and being healthy inside of a shoe is more popular now than I think it used to be. We're more educated on it. We don't have people jumping into a, Vibram 5 fingers. We have people transitioning now. Like, the education's better, the information's better. So I do think Ultra is leading the way in terms of like, hey, these shoes are good for your feet, and people are realizing that. And that's exciting. And I'd like to think maybe it's influencing other brands. I don't have to ask my rep buddies. I don't know if they'd admit it, but I'd like to think in the back of my head that we're definitely leading the charge in terms of putting some natural on your feet for sure.
What you got?
What I got? About a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, I went in and I visited my favorite local running store. We went to the Running Factory in Windsor, Ontario, and I treated myself. And that was after, remember, I won a 10K race, which is amazing.
Right.
And yes, there was other runners in the race. And I bought the Open Run Pro bone conducting headphones. I usually run with the Apple AirPod Pros. They've been clicking recently, so I switched it up for these bone conducting ones because I wanted to be able to hear the environment around me. They're awesome. They're fantastic. It's amazing. Like, it's on your cheekbone and your ears hearing it. I don't know how it's doing it. Maybe it's how your ears actually work. Maybe we'll have to ask Dr. Mark, get him back on. Dr. Mark, help us out.
Bring him back. Bone
But you can
conduction.
hear nature, and you can hear cars coming. They're really good. So they're not as expensive as AirPod Pros too. And I like them a lot. So Open Run Pro. I think the Pro 2s are out now, but I bought the Pro Runs because I got a great deal from the Running Factory. And that's pretty cool.
Can you take calls on them too? Like, do you would my voice be conducted into your bones if I called you when you're wearing them?
Well, I've been talking to you a little bit on them, and usually tell me you can't hear me that well because I'm usually by the lake and it's really loud.
Maybe it's just my voice. Maybe it's not deep enough. Get some
Sultry.
berry white.
Hey now.
Through the bones.
Mention something, Kyle. The Vanish Carbon 2s. What's the secret sauce behind these Vanish Carbon 2s? I've raced about 4 or 5 marathons in the ones, and I loved them. They're fantastic. And I tested out the Carbon 2s that you sent over. I think my marathon in New York coming up, it's going to be amazing. And I think the Vanish Carbon 2s are a big part of it. So what's the secret sauce? What makes them so amazing?
I was fortunate enough to run with one of our product designers at Marine Corps on Sunday. I ran the Marine Corps Marathon, and a gentleman named Bailey. And I didn't necessarily ask him straight up because I don't even, to be honest with you, Todd, I don't know. There's a formulation of foam in that shoe that I'm not allowed to know because it's really good, right? But I was running with Bailey, and we both were wearing Vanish Carbons. We both felt really good. We were looking around. We saw more around there. Honestly, I think it's the foam is really competitive. It's like a nitrogen. There's some nitrogen. There's some stuff going on in that foam, but it's very competitive from a brand perspective, right? Whatever Saucony puts on your feet, whatever Hoka puts on your feet from like their carbon plated racer, I think we've really done a good job to, I don't want to say catch up, but I guess catch up to that top line product innovation. And that foam is as good as it gets from like a cushioning foam in a marathon racer. And the updates from the one are really impressive too. There's a full plate in there now. It adds a little bit more spring. There's 3 millimeters more foam, so now you're on 36 millimeters. It's still a zero drop shoe. It's got that unique selling point about it that really allows you to land midfoot, toe off. And the upper, I mean, people who have a foot that's, whether carbon plated shoes are narrow, man, they're tight. The Ultra, even though, as you guys probably noticed, the Vanish Carbon is narrower than most Ultras, it's still more forgiving than most carbon plated shoes, if not all. So that's also a real fun secret, is that people put their foot in the shoe and they're like, oh, I'm not going to lose my toenails in this shoe. Oh, that's pretty sweet. People are so used to losing toenails or getting blisters. That might not happen. And I honestly, I've run 2 marathons with Vanish Carbon over the past month. My toes are fine. My toes are like, I'm vibing. My toes are living great. So the shoe's impressive. It's competitive. I think it's honestly a battle now is like getting on people's feet, demonstrating the fact that it is competitive and that can be something you wear for a marathon, i.e. Todd, Harvey, you guys getting in it, you guys running in it at these marathons coming up, right? So appreciate your patronage there and trying them out for me, and just open more people's eyes to the shoe.
We'll have to do a toenail journey there, Harvey and Todd, just
Check 'em out.
like be part of the marketing in the future.
We usually
have toes before and after.
we usually charge money for those pictures, Runkle.
Really? Let's see them, Harvey.
That's the other job you were talking about earlier, right?
There you go.
Harvey.
Hey, that's how we fund the podcast, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some big improvements. Like I tested them out. I found them lighter. I found them more responsive. I found like the foot roll was more natural. The ones, they were very good, but I found them more kind of like they'd flatten out and they'd maybe lose their pop. Maybe because I wear them too much. But the carbons too, the other secret, the laces on the two, fantastic, because the laces on the one had no stretch. And I can't tell you how many marathons I was running and they'd come undone. So then you have to like bend over and try to like lace up your shoe at like kilometer 35. It's a disaster.
Yeah, your hamstrings is going to explode on you if you do that. Yeah, and honestly, on the outsole too, it's more durable than the one, right? The durability of the shoe improved a ton. The outsole is like an actual nice blown rubber. So it's exciting. The product's got them excited to see what comes down the line. I think that's a fun... I don't know this because, again, I don't work in products, so this is hearsay from just like me. This is just me speculating. I think that's a fun shoe for us to see how it'll trickle down into the rest of the line, right? Like how they'll take stuff from the Vanish Carbon and apply it to the Experience Flow, or apply it to a Touron, or apply it to different, fun, but daily stuff that like not everyone can afford a $325 shoe, right? They need a $180 trainer. Hopefully we'll see that stuff trickle down into our more daily stuff and typical stuff.
Absolutely. So this might be a random question from somebody who doesn't race or run very long distances, but would you say that like the durability of the shoes, are they lasting longer? Are you finding that the materials going into it, like it's giving you the maybe some time savings, but maybe they're only good for, maybe, I don't know, 300 miles, 200 miles. Like how does that side of it work? Is that something that you can kind of shine some light on?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tricky conversation. Shoes, used to, talk about thin, firm soles with even years and years ago, leather uppers. I mean, a leather upper will last, shoe color, it'll fix that thing forever, right? Mm-hmm. Shoes now are not as durable as they once were. That's a fact. Like it's just, they're not, shoes are not meant to last forever, right? These running shoes that we're referring to, a shoe like the Vanish Carbon is a different. The foam is very resilient, but doesn't have as much durability. Something that maybe has some more, it's a little bit firmer. It's got some more resilience built into it. So a lot of it, though, is based on, from a durability perspective, the type of runner you are. If you're a bigger guy, you're going to get less mileage out of a shoe naturally versus if you're a lighter man or woman who is those people that float when they run. Obviously, we all know them. They're just,
we see them out there. They look like,
they're going to get a zillion miles out of a shoe. Whereas my Clydesdale, when I run and I'm slamming my feet to the ground like I'm mad, I'm going to get, my 500 to 600 kilometers versus their, 800 kilometers. So yeah, the shoe durability, I think it's, if you're running it every day, what we say when I'm on the sales floor selling shoes, you get 6 months out of a shoe, a good training block, that's a success, right? Because you're trying to be preventative and not reactive from an injury perspective. You want to keep them into a shoe that's like going to protect their feet, especially as people are not used to the excessive pounding on hard concrete. We live in this concrete jungle, right? We're running on roads primarily. So we tell people 6 months, if you're running in it every 2 days or every 3 days, you can get, ask the shoe to get closer to a year, right? So that's our suggestion. Then do your best to, of course, bring your old shoes to a donation center, like if you're in Windsor, Running Factory, or I don't know this for sure, but I'm sure they'll take your shoes and they'll donate them to a charity. And there's also companies now that will take your shoes, chop them up, they'll chew them into a plastic bead, right? And then they'll reuse it to make apparel, to make different items, right? So that's my best suggestion. But the to be preventative and to make sure you're healthy when you're running, especially as you're training for marathons, long distance stuff, change your shoes. Change your shoes. Don't run in one pair. Have a couple pairs. And go speak to the people that know their stuff. Go to Running Factory. If you're in Toronto, go to the Runner Shop. If you're in London, go to Backroads. Like, go to these stores and speak to the people that know their stuff, and lean on the experts in the space, right? And they'll be the best source of help.
That's great advice. And I gotta pause here. Uncle Mark, that was a great running question. Like, kudos.
Once in a while, something comes out, but that's all I'm good for. So
we're still working Mark into a race. We're getting there, and these questions that he's got, they're evolving. They're getting deeper into the nuance of being a runner. I love it. Harvey, I'm going to put you on the spot. What kind of question do you got on your mind for Altra Kyle?
Well, I've been just thinking about this. So Todd and I were both Ultra ambassadors for quite a few years. One of the questions that they would ask us on the application would be something like, you're working a trade show booth. How do you convince the person walking by to try out a pair of Ultras? So I'm curious, Kyle, how do you convince somebody to try on a pair of Ultras?
That's a good question. I like it.
It's a good question. I'll actually, I'll reference, we have a tech rep out in BC. His name's Riley, great guy. We were at the Vancouver Expo earlier this year. I wasn't there, but I saw, I talked to Riley about it. Riley, they did an activation. So when people would walk by the booth, they had a 10 by 20 and, part of the 10-foot space that they would use, they had an activation going on, and what it was trace your foot shape, trace your foot, to take a look at your foot. So people would walk in, and Riley is a very, he's persuasive. He'll bring you in. He's very personable. So he would invite people into the booth, go, hey, come, let me trace your foot shape, right? Maybe you'd entice them by a draw to enter for a pair of shoes or something like that. But ideally, people are pretty open at an expo. They're interested in seeing what's going on and having a good time. So he'd bring people in, and he'd bring them over to this mat. You trace their foot on the mat. And then, as you trace your foot, you realize what shape your foot is in. And just so lucky for us, Ultras are shaped like people's feet. So then, Riley was able to go, so this is what your foot is shaped like. Why don't you try the shoe on that is shaped just like your foot? And I think people found that. I mean, you probably find Riley a little bit endearing in terms of the way that he's speaking to you. But additionally, they were like, oh, that makes a ton of sense. Hey, let me try it on. So I think it's making it fun, like, I guess, to tie it all together. Like, have fun with it. You're at an expo. Those things are the best, Harvey. You were just at Chicago. It's a blast. Like, New York for you, Todd, is going to be, like, you're going to go out there. You'll speak to the Ultra folks there. Mm-hmm. It's a great time. I was just at a Marine Corps. Everyone's buzzing. Everyone's excited. They're running a marathon. So I think making it fun, chatting with people, and if you have a fun activation go along with it, it just makes everyone's experience that much better. So, well,
that's pretty good. But I got to tell you, like, in 2002, I think it was, Todd and I went up to Chicago. And obviously, we're not official reps for the company, but we were wearing our Ultra swag, and that was when the carbon plate just came out and the Via just came out, the original Via, and it was simple for us to get people to try on the shoes because we didn't have any pressure. We just went out there and we said, "Hey, have you tried this new shoe yet?" And we were actually getting people trying them on. So. Riley's idea is good. Yeah, Riley's idea is good, but I think we're pretty good too.
You guys just get out there and get after it.
We didn't have any pressure, so we're fine.
No, that's the key though. Is not the pressure is because then you're like, oh, I gotta get some shoes on people's feet. You just gotta take it easy, dude, and just like go chat with people. That's a good point.
For the folks watching this, they could be able to watch this, and we'll throw in some of the examples into the finish show. But for our listeners who are listening to it, Kyle, you just touched on something really cool. Look at your foot. Even if you're not an Ultra wearer right now, look at your foot. Look at the shape of it. And then go look at the shape of your running shoe. Most of them are rounded at the front. They take that big toe, and they push the big toe in towards your second toe. And the second you do that, you got instability in the knee. If your knee's hurting, if you got some hip pain, it's because your big toe is not acting like a big toe. See, Dr. Mark, if you're listening, it's finally rubbed off. I'm paying attention, but you got to have that big toe. And so look at your foot and look at your running shoe, and don't be afraid. Try a shoe that's more natural. And it doesn't have to be just Ultra. You touched on it. There's a lot of different brands out there that have close to zero drop, 4 millimeter drop, wide toe box. you want your foot to be a foot. And I think it was Dr. Mark said, try to swing a hammer with no thumb. It's kind of hard to swing a hammer with no thumb. And then lock your thumb on it and you can swing a hammer. Well, your thumb and your big toe is pretty much the same thing. Maybe not, but Tito will fact check me for that for sure.
I don't think I've seen somebody swing a hammer with their foot, but I'm just kidding. I know what you mean.
You know, Todd, that's one of the cool things that Altra did with their shoe in the early years. If you look at the bottom of the shoe, they have your footprint right on the bottom of the shoe.
You're right. I love that.
It's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Perfect. Just like really Uncle has there.
Exactly. Yeah, it's easy to identify, right? You look at that and people go, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? And a lot of the people that get into it, and again, like we said, the challenge is getting into the challenge, but people come to Altra now because their feet are messed up or they have issues, and they're realizing like, oh man, like I need a shoe that like makes me feel good, and they come to Altra because there's a perfect one there. That's the perfect.
The Escalantes, right? Yeah.
So I think it's now, but trying to get people to realize before your feet start to hurt, get in them, and your feet probably won't even begin to hurt, right? So, it's a great point.
These were my all-time favorite, just because I like the color of them. I think seriously, I put 3,000 kilometers on these things, and Mark, they don't smell, Mark. I wash them. And
Todd, I think they're still good. They're still good. Just put them on.
They're still good.
Yeah, just go for a ride.
I would, but that's what Harvey was talking about too. Like, I love this. This would always, even if it didn't really do anything, it just looked really cool. But it did. Like, it sees where your foot bends. I like the idea.
Yeah, it definitely worked with your foot. There's no doubt. It had functionality to it, which is cool as well. There's no doubt.
Just gonna say, you should find a way to convert those old ones into like flip flops around the house, and you can get. Like,
no, they're still good for cutting grass.
Right?
I wear my originals for cutting grass. They're like slippers. I'm afraid what'll ever happen if the lawnmower runs over my foot, because there's not going to be much protection. But hey, my feet are flat in the grass.
That's right. Protect your feet. That respect.
Well, I like cutting my grass in my Shama sandals, so I always wear my sandals when I'm cutting the grass. And if the lawnmower runs wild on that, there's no more foot either, and no more running. Well, maybe I could run. I'd still give it a shot, I think. Yeah. Now, Kyle, you touched about, you said Lone Peak 9s are coming out?
Yeah, Lone Peak 9 will be I think it's a January. It's a new year release. Excited to see the evolution of Lone Peak. As you guys know, it's a tried and true staple of the brand, something that I don't think we toy around with too much, because it's such a, I mean, we still sell more of those shoes than anything, right? It's our top selling shoe. So you don't want to mess with it too much, but also continue to push the shoe forward from an innovation perspective. So excited for it to launch and for you guys to see it and get people's thoughts on it for sure.
So which Lone Peaks would these ones be? This is my my winter special.
It probably says it looks like a 7, maybe from the side. If you look in the lateral, the outside of the shoe, it should have a number.
In the mountain?
In the mountain, a 7. 7.
Yeah, so Lone Peak 7. We're on the 8 right now, and 9 will be out in the new year, which will be exciting.
I think I wore the 6s for my JFK last year, and they got me through the Appalachian Trail. And I did kick my toe about 3 trillion times, so the toe guard helped out a little bit. And then it helped out till it didn't help out anymore, and I ended up losing a toenail. But it wasn't the shoe's fault. It's because I got tired on those Razorback rocks. But they were fantastic. When I got off the trail, the feet were fresh, and then I got to the C&O Canal, and I put on my my Vanish Tempos, and I tried to motor as fast as I could, and it turned out to be a fast walk, not a run. Harvey, don't make fun of me.
So Todd, you're running New York, right? That's your next race.
That's right. So heading out on Thursday, going to fly into New York, going to go check out the booth and say hi to all the Altra folks, and then running on Sunday. And if I survive that, which I should survive, I'll be at JFK again in the end of November.
Yeah, you're crazy. Yeah, JFK was. They were telling me about JFK down. I was just down in DC, and they were like, "You want to come hang out at JFK?" Unfortunately, I can't make it, but they were saying,
"Oh, you can't make it," and that's the thing. I think it's the 62nd. It's sponsored this year by Altra, so that's why I had to sign up, because I want to go down there and get a lot more merch. I got the Brooks merch last year, and I'm like,
that just doesn't sound right.
Mike Spindler.
Brooks sponsoring a trail run. I don't know.
You just had the race organizer on, Dave.
Mike Spindler. Mike Spindler came on a few episodes ago.
That's it. Yeah.
He almost got Mark to sign up. He was so convincing to sign up for the race.
He must be good then. If he's getting Mark to sign up.
I know. I'm elusive. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Todd,
you've got.
Sorry, I was going to say, Todd, you should just like secretly sign Mark up for a race. Don't tell him until like a couple days before and be like, "Hey, by the way, I got you a bib."
I tried. It was the beer mile. I thought for sure he needs to do the beer mile. I know he likes beer.
So that was too long. It was too long.
It's too long. So Kyle,
guys,
fun story.
Go ahead.
I was going to say fun story. So Harvey and I did the beer mile with Corey Belmore. You mentioned Corey earlier. And we show up at the University of Windsor track. And, I'm not in that good of mile shape to begin with. And, we go out the first lap and Harvey's pounding the beer. Second lap, he's ahead of me. I'm starting to catch him. Like, why am I catching Harvey? Harvey's naturally faster than I am all the time. All of a sudden, I see Harvey. He's puking, like puking everywhere.
On the back stretch, nobody's seen me.
Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it.
That was fun.
And then it was fun.
Those are hard to tell, though. Credit to Corey. Corey's a good. I mean, I bought one of Corey's t-shirts. I did a beer mile recently as well, and I bought one of Corey's t-shirts. I ended up giving it to my old cross country coach, Peterborough. He likes Corey Belmore. Like, if you're talking about celebrities, right? People like meeting LeBron James or Leonardo, whatever, DiCaprio, whatever. My cross country coach's top celebrity is Corey Belmore. So the fact that I know Corey a little bit from my time working, over at Running Factory and stuff, or with the team, I got him this T-shirt with Corey, the beer mile champion. I gave it to my coach, and he was buzzing. He thought it was the best thing ever. And
that's awesome.
He every year he's like, let's do a beer mile, and I go up there, and they're so painful. They're so hard. Like, they're like, golly. Like,
they're only painful if you run fast. If you run really slow, it's just like drinking a beer and walking.
And make sure the beer is not too warm and not too cold. It just has to be just perfect.
Ooh.
Yeah.
The cold
was warm beer.
That's for sure. So
warm is foamy.
Yeah, that's right. So I gotta go and see. I gotta try to convince Corey. I gotta get my coach to come meet Corey at some point. So I have a question for you guys, though.
We'll put a good word in for you too. Corey always listens to the podcast. He's a friend of the podcast. Corey, come on in.
He's a renegade.
He's probably going to send you He's going to send you another shirt since you gave it away.
Yeah, I'm going to come down to Windsor because I'll be down there with you, Harvey, and I'll be supporting them. There's no doubt. I wanted to ask you guys, being longtime Ultra supporters, what's and again, this is purely out of my curiosity. What would be your Ultra wish list? Like, if Ultra had to come out with a shoe, with even maybe it's a piece of apparel, what would you guys be like? Damn, Ultra came out with this. This is badass. This is useful. It's something I can use. This is cool. Is it a special makeup at a marathon? Like, what do you guys? What's your Ultra wish list item you'd love to see us come out with, or shoe?
That's a great question. I'm looking at Harvey. I'll let Harvey start with that. That's a great question.
So I was a little disappointed when Ultra ditched their apparel. We were lucky. I was lucky enough. I'm not sure what Todd has, but I was lucky enough to grab a couple pairs of the Ultra short shorts. I think they're ultra illegal.
They're very illegal.
Yeah, a pair of the tights, which I don't wear too often, but it's nice to have in the winter. Their t-shirts, their sweaters. It's like the shirt that Todd's wearing right now. I just actually wore it on my run before the podcast, so I couldn't wear it now. It's a little sweaty, but it's nice to have that apparel so that when you tell people about Ultra, you're backing it up, you're reinforcing it. You go out there, you see everybody wearing Nike, Under Armour, all this stuff. Yeah, sure, that they're in the shoe business. They're also in the apparel business, but it just brands that name into people's brains. And it would be a lot easier. That, and I want to see what the next Carbon is.
Carbon 3.
Yeah, they're going to be afloat on the cloud. I know it. They're going to be ahead of everybody's technology. I can just feel it.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I think that might be a 2026 or beyond project, but we'll see, man. We'll see.
Runkle, what are you looking for an innovation or up and coming from
I would
Ultra?
say if there is one thing I could have, it would be a signature series Terra Dower Candy Mama shoe.
Yes.
It would just be awesome colors. We just had her on. She's just an awesome guest too as well. Yep.
She's a star.
Kyle,
How
I'm going
about
to
you?
throw out
How about you?
this. I'm going to throw out this. It's almost like a de-evolution of the shoe. So for the people who've been running in ultras for a few years, our feet are super strong now. And sometimes going with a more cushiony, more, comfortable shoe hurts the foot. So I like to go back to like maybe a nod to the old style shoe, maybe a very minimal shoe, really thin, just for the folks who are got strong feet now and who crave like a thinner shoe, more flexible. So maybe a more natural shoe. But there's probably not many of us out there. And Golden mentioned that when he was on our podcast too. We asked him like, what's an unfinished business for you? And he talked about coming out with like a smaller, thinner, more flexible shoe. And like my eyes lit up. So that'd be something pretty cool to see. Other than that, just keep innovating. Like,
It'd be like if Ultra had a shoe from like the 70s. So like, the old like Converses or something like that. That would be pretty awesome.
Cool.
Like a retro.
Oh, I do have one thing to add to that, Kyle, because when we were in Berlin last year, we found this guy who had a bunch of the old Ultras, and I found some of the casuals. So I picked up a couple of the casuals, everyday casuals, so that you can wear Ultras 24/7. Well, I'm not wearing them to sleep, but
that's a great
other than that, yeah, I miss the casuals. I have a couple pairs. I was lucky enough to pick them up for a dirt amount of euros. So I would love to see that again.
Harvey negotiated very strongly in Berlin.
I did, yes.
And he ended up having to buy a second suitcase to bring home all his shoes.
Yes.
Hard to find them. Yeah, the good old leather.
That was the funniest thing. That was kind of like a joke that Harvey and I started afterwards. We're like, hey, can we get our hands on some of these Ultras that they don't sell, and we could open up our own shoe store here?
For sure.
One day we might do that still.
Yeah.
I know you guys have talked to me about it. I think there is a market of like, to your point about more minimal. You're not the only person that said that to me. Of course, I think that's a tricky conversation to have from a brand perspective. I'm not entirely sure where that conversation lives at Ultra. I think the Escalante Racer has solved some of those issues for people that are looking, like even just putting on the Escalante Racer this past weekend. It feels, it's a natural feeling shoe, and it's a shoe I still probably have to get on your feet at some point, guys. But to your point about that, I think there are people that, people wear, you see minimal product on people's feet more and more. I find, and maybe it's because I work at Ultra, but I see it more and more often because it is, I get the idea that minimal shoes are healthy for your feet and they're good for you. I'm on board with that. So I think it's a neat point. I'll be interested to see what happens, especially in that space, where the trend flows to in the running shoe world, right? If maybe it does thin out a little bit, right? This really, very high max trend, does it thin out? We're going to focus more on foot health and, how they what their perspective on that is. So it's an interesting point. And you're definitely not the only person to ask for something less. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, there's no worries. Hey, I know, guys, we're running a bit over time here, but you know what? Kyle, what's up and coming? What's something that's on your radar? Something you want our audience to know about, either Ultra or Ultra Kyle?
Yeah, what's up? What's next? I'm trying to think. I mean, I think that from a product perspective, I think Lone Peak 9 is going to make people very happy. I think that's going to be a really fun product. There are some, I'm not sure what I can say, but there are some variations of Lone Peak that I think are going to be really
the
exciting.
Candy Mamas is what I heard, Mark, right? The Candy Mama Lone Peak 9.
That's right. So the Lone Peak will evolve a little bit, which I think is going to be really exciting. I think keep your eyes open for that. Tornate, I think as much as we do have the 4mm drop shoes, the Tornate's a dynamite shoe. Like I've not yet put my foot in it before on some samples. I've seen it. I should have some demos coming soon, which will be good. Maybe we can get a little pre-launch going at Shores of Erie. But I think that's going to be a shoe people will really gravitate towards. It's gonna build really nicely up Torn 7. So that's from a product perspective. From an Ultra Kyle perspective, where am I going to be over the next while? It's kind of a slower season. Again, I'm out east next week. So if anyone's out in Halifax or working with Aerobics First and back trails out in Fredericton, so a couple accounts out there. What else?
What's your next race is coming up? Yes.
For me? Yeah, nothing. You know what, Harvey? I rolled my ankle horribly at Marine Corps at mile 4, and then I finished the marathon on this bum ankle. I'm done running.
Kyle's given up. He's done running.
It's over. I'm retired.
You know what's exciting for Ultra Kyle? I'm gonna bulk. Yeah. I'm gonna bulk up. I think I'm gonna become a
famous
hybrid athlete.
That's famous last words from the runners, though, right? Oh, I'm injured. I'm done. Oh, what can I do next week?
Yeah. The same morning I was leaving DC with my bum ankle, I was looking at my taxi to the airport and a beautiful path, and I was like, man, that'd be a beautiful place to run. And then I was like, well, it just immediately day after running a marathon, right? So with a bum ankle. So you know, guys, I think follow me on socials at Ultra Kyle. I'm kind of all over the place to an extent. I just like to get out there. I like to chat with people at stores. I like to work on the sales floor, work with teams. I like to go and just get my hands dirty a little bit. That's the most fun of the job, dude, is getting out there and working with people, solving some problems. So if you're around, if you're in Toronto, any surrounding areas, keep an eye out on my socials. I tend to post stories from where I'm at, and always reach out with questions. Like not only for you guys are great resources for Ultra as well, but shoot me a note, Ultra Kyle, my message on Instagram, Ultra_Kyle. And I'm always happy to help out, whether we need to locate product, whether you need to ask questions about a warranty issue, anything like that. Feel free to reach out to me, and I'm happy to be a resource.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you, Kyle.
Well,
and Harvey.
It's been awesome. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and Harvey, thanks for joining us tonight too to try co-host. I don't even know what is that? Is it 3 hosts?
Co.
A throast.
Throast.
Co. And where can people find you, Harvey, on socials?
Socials.
And what's next for you?
Funny story. I don't work for Ultra, but you can find me Ultra_Harvey. You can also find our running group Shores of Erie on Instagram as Shores of Erie, or on Facebook Shores of Erie Running Runners. I can't remember the exact, but what's next for me?
Add them both.
Yeah, check them both. Yeah, what's next for me? So I don't have anything planned between now and London, England, the London, England Marathon. Hopefully we'll be repping some Ultra gear there. Maybe we'll have something new by then, Kyle. I don't know.
Very illegal shorts. Very ultra
carbons
legal
for sure. Carbons for sure. I meant the illegal shorts. Like, you got to pack light. So other than that, I'm hoping to be to train up, and maybe I'll slide a half marathon or a marathon in between. I will be at mile 6 this week in New York, holding your water, Todd.
Yes, he will be.
So I'll be there representing Windsor Essex County as a volunteer. And other than that, that's it for me lately.
Well, that's a lot. So
that's some good stuff. I'm just sitting over here, LIVING,
that's awesome.
And that's about it. So no races.
You're going to get in there, Uncle. You will.
You know what?
One of these days.
We'll get him. Yeah. You know what, Runkle? Like maybe the lightning bolt, or the spring one down here at Point Peely. It's the 5K that's actually 4.5 kilometers, so it's really easy to set your PB because it's half kilometer short. I love that race.
I like the sounds of that.
I always tell people when they start running, just set a goal. Pick a race.
Yeah.
That's your goal. You're going for it.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, if anything, at least I know my feet will be taken care of. Mm-hmm. So again, thank you, Kyle, for that.
Of course, Mark. Thank you.
Looking forward to running.